to get started, if you can hear me, if you're a donor, there is seating up here for you. We'll ask the people from Bray Construction and Myron that are representing to please take their seats. There are some seats remaining in the front here. If you feel you don't want to stand for the next 30 minutes, there are some seats up here. And then kids, after we do the national anthem, remember, if you did not register to have a chance to cut the ribbon with Mr. Lutke, the box is up there in that corner. Chase up there after we sing the national anthem. At this time, I'd ask you all to please stand if you're able. Remove your hats and caps. Turn your attention to the United States flag as Isaiah Spatz sings the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Isaiah. We know that you are busy rehearsing by day and performing at night at Northern Sky Theater, so it's special for us for you to come here today to open this ceremony for us. It's said that when we stand to honor the United States flag, that we're acknowledging the past and present of our country, that they're really one, and that we are laying a foundation for the future of our country. When I pondered on what today meant to dedicate this new school, I saw a bit of a parallel. Today, we're going to hear some voices from the past inside the school. You will see some pieces of the past that came over from the 1924 school. And as we dedicate this new school and open the doors, we lay a foundation for the future success of Sevastopol School. So, welcome on behalf of my fellow school board members, Keith Volkman, Jerry Warwick, Dick Weidman, Dave Kakmarinsky, Cindy Ehlers, and Sue Today, and board members Karen Brower and Jay Zahn, who were board members in 2017 when this process began. Three special guests that made a trip to be here today are Mr. John Ashley from the Wisconsin Association of School Boards, Mr. Jeff Dickert from CISA 7. Those are both organizations the school belongs to, where we receive services for both the school board and educational services for within the school, and Mr. Joel Kitchens, our representative in Madison. Also, welcome to our donors. Mr. Lutke will introduce you to them a little bit later and tell you of their contributions. Welcome to the representatives from Bray Architects and Myron Construction. Mr. Lutke will also introduce you to them, and oh my gosh, what they've created for us. Welcome to the CFAC, the Community Facility Advisory Committee. There's a plaque inside the school with the names of each serving member. I'm not going to read the names, but I am going to read the inscription because it speaks really well of your contribution. In September of 2017, a group of 36 citizens began meeting to discuss the building options for the school district of Sevastopol. Over the next 10 months, the group formulated a plan with community input to present a successful referendum question in November of 2018. Your leadership, enthusiasm, and dedicated commitment in the planning of this new school helped make it a reality. Our community will be forever grateful. Welcome, community members. Great credit is due to you today. In 1918, there were citizens that had a vision for a Sevastopol school. Over the years, you've supported the school, and with the approval of the building of the new school in 2018, you laid the first block in that foundation for the continued success of Sevastopol. Thank you, and be proud. Students and staff. In that, I'll include current students, past students, present staff, and retirees. Over the years, you experienced some inconveniences and challenges, leaking ceilings over your desks, rooms that weren't quite big enough for all of the students in them, rooms that wouldn't heat up in the winter and became close to 90 degrees in the late spring and early fall. And through all of that, you kept teaching, providing services, and learning. With that, you made Sevastopol one of the finest school districts in the state of Wisconsin, as evidenced by the Wisconsin School Report Card and the National Blue Ribbon School Award Sevastopol received in Washington, D.C. just a few years ago. So thank you for that. Staff, you were not required to be here today, but your presence speaks to your pride in this school and the commitment to your students. So everyone here today, you are pioneers. You participated in the vision for this great possibility for our school. Well done. Now, please welcome to the podium our student speakers for the afternoon, Miss Natalie Zavoyski, Mr. Finn Matthews, and Miss Samantha Hernandez.
Hi everyone, my name is Samantha Hernandez and I'm in 6th grade.
Hi, my name is Finn Matthews and I'm in 8th grade.
And my name is Natalie and I'm going to be a senior.
As Sevastopol students, we are excited about starting school in the fall in a new and updated building and the many opportunities it will bring to our education. I would like to thank the school board for the vision of the new school. I would also like to thank the Sevastopol community for voting to fund the new construction. Sevastopol students are excited to be in the new school. Some of the things that excite me about the new school are the doors between the classrooms that will help keep the hallways a bit quieter for class competition, where each of us will carry books and our dreams. I am also excited for the new AC in the school and the support rooms that will help the students stay focused when needed. Lastly, I'm excited about the new art room and all the projects I will get to do.
When I think of Sevastopol, 3 words come to mind: opportunity, attention, and academics. When you go to Sevastopol, you have the opportunity to do anything and be anything. I've had some amazing opportunities myself, including sports, music, and other extracurricular activities, like Destination Imagination, plays, and musicals. When you go to Sevastopol, you also get special attention to address all of your special needs. For me, that has meant getting extra help in language arts. I have dyslexia, but here I am giving a speech to all of you. Finally, when I think of Sevastopol, I think of academics. When you go to Sevastopol, you learn from some of the best teachers around, which is why Sevastopol Middle School has ranked #1 in Wisconsin.
Those who know me best know that I'm really obsessed with STEM, and my favorite subject has forever been math. While attending Sevastopol, I have been able to really explore my interests, like competing in the engineering challenge with the amazing Destination Imagination program, being a member of the math team, and taking more STEM-specific classes in AP, CAP, and the early college credit programs. I'm also excited that the new tech and science labs will provide even more opportunities for students like myself to further explore our interests in STEM. My experiences inside and outside the classroom have made me the person speaking in front of you today, and that is what makes Sevastopol so special.
Sevastopol has helped us all in different ways, but what is the same is the spirit that you get when you go to Sevastopol. With the new construction and decision to support our education, we now know that Sevastopol students have a bright future ahead, including the generations to come. Thank you.
Linda Wade is a Sevastopol alumni, has been interested in the school district since her graduation and was a member of the CFAC. We'll hear from her next.
Thank you, Lisa. Yes, my name is Linda Keno Waite. I grew up on the Keno family farm, which is just down the road here a bit. I attended Sevastopol School, grades 1 through 12. There was no kindergarten back then. And Mr. Carl Schultz was my principal at the time, and I graduated in 1969. So it is my pleasure and my privilege to be here today to give recognition to our Sevastopol School and our Sevastopol School District for bringing about this wonderful new and improved version of our school. From the doors first opening in 1924 and now reopening today in 2021 and the future, this building has been and continues to be a great asset to our Sevastopol community. But the greater asset will be those students inside the school building. They will have the newest and the best in technology and tools, learning, graduating, and then heading out into the big wide world to pursue their careers and dreams. So as a resident, a neighbor, a friend, and a town official, I say thank you to our dedicated parents, to our hardworking students, to the staff and the faculty, and the entire community for supporting our Sevastopol School District as it continues to pioneer its excellence in education and the next generation. Thank you all for coming this afternoon.
We're honored to have here this afternoon Mr. Carl Schultz, former principal, teacher, principal superintendent. I read that Mr. Schultz has the record of the longest serving superintendent in the state of Wisconsin. Throughout his career at Sevastopol and in these years of retirement, he has remained interested and involved. So thank you for being here, Mr. Schultz.
Thank you. Thank you very much. There are two things that describe this school. One, it's an institute. Institute is a place of learned learners. The other is Sevastopol. Sevastopol is Greek for a place of glory. Ruth and I had the pleasure of being there some years ago and verified that it was. So, congratulations. I am absolutely overwhelmed. Never have I been so overwhelmed with anything as seeing this school and just a little bit of the interior. So, well, thank you everyone here. It's certainly, I've been overwhelmed by the credit, a number of people, and I certainly appreciate seeing a number of my former students, so thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schultz. Next, we'll hear from Mr. Mike Madden. Many of you will recognize him as a former Sevastopol student, and he is a special recognition and dedication.
Thank you, Lisa. I am honored and proud to be part of the dedication program and very happy I can tell you about a special part of this new building to be named for the most influential man in my and thousands of other students' lives here at Sevastopol. Superintendent Lutke and Board President Lisa Beery knew this building dedication was a very appropriate time to honor an educator that's been part of the school district's legacy for more than 67 years. For many years, students and staff have utilized what was the old gym in the 1924 building and then became known as the multi-purpose room. In this new bastion of education, that multi-purpose room that serves so many functions will be dedicated as the Carl Schultz Pioneer Room. The purposeful room's name will always remind us of the positive influence Mr. Schultz has provided for almost 3/4 of this school's history. A multi-purpose educator who led us on such a positive journey. A multi-purpose educator who was a teacher, principal, superintendent, transportation director, school bus driver, conservation club leader, originator of the Sevastopol Arbor Day program, guest speaker, sometimes with live animals, maple syrup boiler, mentor, and champion of education and the community. Mr. Schultz at one time was the youngest superintendent in the state, plus having the longest tenure, as Lisa said. Mr. Schultz has received many local and state recognitions for his work in education and conservation. He always exhibited the importance of positive influence on students. While other school districts were installing candy and soda vending machines, Mr. Schultz installed apple and milk machines. Under his leadership, Sevastopol became the first smoke-free school district in Wisconsin. This positive influence never stopped at the walls of the school. He was innovative in creation of the township's successful sewage treatment facilities, which we can all be thankful for today. He was the lone protester that stopped the United States Coast Guard from firing live lead ammunition into Lake Michigan. Carl and Ruth have been examples of what makes the school district shine in the eyes who have been part of the Sevastopol experience. Mr. Schultz made everyone know at Sevastopol that respect and discipline are necessary for a positive educational experience. My first exposure to Mr. Schultz was when I was a student in the 2-room Jacksonport school. This man in a suit came with a bus, picked us up, all of us from 1st through 8th grade, and enlisted our help to plant the pine trees that are still growing behind the town hall and the fire station at Jacksonport. I've been part of tree plantings ever since, because of you, Carl. As I mentioned, Mr. Schultz emphasized respect and discipline, respect for everyone in our school. He often said, no one person or job is any more important than another. He displayed this by grabbing a mop when a toilet overflowed, and I never saw him not stop to pick up a piece of litter when he walked down the hallway. I was part of a group of high school boys that were a little troubled during our high school years. My brother Pat explained it to his daughter by saying, we shared an office with Mr. Schultz. Once, when summoned to the office, Mr. Schultz laid his wallet on the table and told us, I would rather you boys steal my money than have you steal time away from your fellow students' education or teacher time by your misbehavior. Everyone who had contact with Mr. Schultz knew he meant what he said, and he would follow through with positive encouragement or, if needed, consequences. Again, when I was back in high school at 16-year-old, I felt I needed to rebel against our school dress code. I didn't wear a belt to school. When yet again summoned to Mr. Schultz's office, I was given 3 options. Mr. Schultz would give me his belt, he would supply me with a piece of twine, or he would take me home to get a belt. I wore a belt the next day. These experiences and hundreds more through the generations of students taught us that there are expectations in school and life that we must all meet. Mr. Schultz has mentored and touched all those in our Sevastopol. Memories have shaped a whole family of personal values that make Sevastopol a proud place to be. One of the most wonderful memories I have is the huge send-off the school gave Mr. Schultz for his honor flight for Veterans Day to Washington, D.C. The whole school assembled, the band played, thank you cards were displayed, and speeches given. The 17-year-old World War II paratrooper was being sent off 70 years later by a very grateful and proud gathering of 600 plus students and staff and friends. Mr. Schultz, then just 87 years old, stood and thanked and shook everyone's hand who left the gymnasium. Mr. Schultz has some age-related physical limitations, but don't let you think that he's changed his giving back to the school and community. Mr. Schultz has campaigned for all Sevastopol schools referendums, including the one that built this building. He's politically active. Last year, he fought for the sovereignty and preservation of the United States' oldest nature sanctuary, the Ridges Sanctuary. And while physical challenges required him to locate to an assisted living residence, he has this year recorded sighting 2 new bird species for Door County, the lark bunting and the fish crow. A bronze plaque will soon be placed at a centrally located Carl Schultz Pioneer Room inside the doors. That plaque, for decades to come, will remind us of the man who led Sevastopol on a journey we can all be proud of. When you look at that plaque in the future, think of the young veteran who came to Sevastopol in 1954 and continues to lead us on our glorious destiny. Thank you.
So when I was enrolled in my graduate class at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, the professors always lectured us and said, never follow a legend. Mr. Schultz, it's my privilege and honor to follow you any place. Thank you. First, I'd like to recognize some distinguished guests we have with us today from Bray Architect, Nate Stark, Clint Seeley, Stephanie Verling, and Michael Rasala. Bray Architect has been working with our district for over a decade to get us to this point. Without their guidance and commitment, we would not be here today. Thank you. Representing Myron Construction, our general contractor, are Rick Birkin, Megan Prestabach, and Jeremy Paholke. Myron has been our general contractor and began assisting us with the referendum process and overseeing the entire building process since fall of 2017. I particularly want to thank Megan Prestabach for essential communications work prior to the referendum. Also, the project superintendent, Jeremy Paholke, for his major role he has played in this project. Jeremy and I communicate on a daily basis, and I mean daily this time of year, and he has walked me through many topics that I do not understand, but he walks them through me until I understand it. Thank you, Jeremy. When I think of this building project, there are 2 particular features I'm proud of. First, this project has something for every student. Every student. Our middle school and high school students will be receiving a new science wing, new industrial arts wing. We have 2 new art rooms for grades K through 12. Our music students have new practice rooms. And then our students have special needs and academic needs have new classrooms. Our English language learners have a centrally located spot, premier spot on the 2nd floor where they have access to all their students K-12. And our elementary students, early childhood, 4K, 5K, 1st through 5th grade all have brand new classrooms. Additionally, there's the elementary IMC and now the Carl Schultz Pioneer Room. Truly, there's something for every student in this project. The second part I'm proud about this project is the community support. In the fall of 2017, which was my first fall here, I had the pleasure of working with 35 dedicated citizens who formally became the CFAC committee. We met every other Monday night and we've developed a plan which is complemented with a survey from the community on giving the board direction for a referendum question for the fall of 2018. Personally, I also need to thank Rock Lottenbach, our maintenance director at that time. Usually on Tuesday mornings, I'd go to his office before I went to my own. I would sit down with him, and he was a great sounding board, listener, and full of sage advice. There were days I went in there very excited about the project, thinking it was going to pass with no problem, and he'd talk me down a little bit to reality and bring me back as an even keel. Then there was other times where I think this day would never arrive, and he said, you got to hang in there and trust the process. So thank you, Rock. I will always be grateful to you. We also had great community support with donations along the way. Thermotronics, represented today by Brad Andre, Mr. Brad Andre and his son Brad. Their donation has been used to greatly enhance our industrial arts area. We have a state-of-the-art facility, second to none. And when you see it, you'll truly be impressed. Thank you. Our FFA alumni donated funds towards upgrading our new greenhouse, which you can see down the east end over there. Representing the FFA alumni are Dan Plur, Mary Gilbert, and Tim Ash. Thank you for your continued support of our school and our ag program. Unfortunately, they could not be with us here today, but Drom Corporation has graciously donated the watering system for the greenhouse and will be guiding the installation of that project later this month. Jim and Heather Smith have made a donation in honor of Jim's mother, Julia Washachek, and Heather's grandmother, Vera Miller, both members of the first graduating class of Sevastopol. Steve and Janice Wood have also made a donation to be used for any part of any aspect of the project. Steve has given of his time and efforts in the past, as well as a former school board of education member here at Sevastopol. Thank you. And thank you to Matt Ortherberg, owner of Photos by Matt, and his wife Shelley's out in the audience. She didn't want me to point her out, but she's right there. Matt has used his talents and abilities since groundbreaking in the spring of 2020 to weekly come by, take photos, and capture the whole process for us. So thank you, Matt, for doing that for the district. And finally, I'd like to thank the community who supported the project with their votes in the November of 2018 election. The referendum garnered 62% community support. Thank you for investing in our students and our future. It's truly an honor and a privilege to be part of a project that has this kind of community support and will provide an opportunity for each and every student going forward. Thank you.
Mr. Lutke will now draw the names of two Sevastopol students who will come forward and assist him in cutting the ribbon on the new school.
Ruth Wilkie and Addison Chelsky, please come forward. Oh, we all got faces the same way.
Okay.
No, face the same way. Thank you for coming today. We'll now have self-guided tours. There will be staff members staggered throughout the building to ask you if you have any questions. There will also be signage explaining various parts of the aspects of the project. We did incorporate some of the past into the future. If you walk in the atrium as you go in, you'll see some bricks that were restored from the 1924 section. They make a remembrance wall. When the bench in that area is from the 1965 bleachers, and there's 2 learning educational plaques that were above the doorways of the 1924 section, as well as the original cornerstone, which you'll see says Conley School on it, because back in the 1920s, Catherine Conley was the superintendent of all of Door County. And although we were never called the Conley School, that is what the original cornerstone says. And as you head up the learning stairs to the 2nd floor, on the right-hand side as you go in, you will see the hand railings are from the 1924 section. Those are the hand railings that every student, staff member, and parent that walked up and down the 2nd and 3rd floor touched over the years, and we'll continue that tradition going forward. Our teachers and aides have only had a limited time to get in their rooms, and they had hundreds of boxes to pack and unpack. And their rooms are in various stages, so the building will be ready when the school comes, but if you see a lot of boxes, it's because our staff, and everyone, I can tell you this, our staff, every teacher that has a new room has come in on their own time this last week and helped get their room as ready as possible, but there are still some moving in items going on. But I really want to thank our staff for their dedication, their time on their own to come in and get the room as well as they can. And at this time, if you can let us clean up just a little pathway here, then come on in and see what our new facility looks like. Thank you for your support.
Well done.